one? Well, I look a little rusty today because I haven't shaved today, got an old t-shirt, but I'm doing that because I feel like a leftover. And why? Because we're going to have some of Chef Julian's Luscious leftovers. Now, Barbara, if you pan over here, I've got some catfish in here, okay? And I'm using no salt or low salt seasoning for a reason. I'm on a quest right now. But this catfish is straight from the Mississippi down there in the bayou. And it's going to be a mother. Throw a little bit of lemon on here. But the question was, what do I serve with this? Now, we had some broccoli the other day. But we had a bunch of stems that were left over. Now, most people throw away the stems. Some people know about cooking stems. But stems from broccoli stems have a lot of nutrients in them. They're easy to cook. If you have them left over, don't throw them out. You can do something with them. If you take here, I've already got some simmering here. I've got broccoli stems in here. I have a few leaves that were left over. And what I'm doing is I'm sauteing them with some minced garlic and extra virgin olive oil. And what I'm doing now, I have some Paul Prudhomme salt-free seasonings. Now look, you can use salt. If salt is okay with you, fine. But you don't necessarily need it, because sometimes if you're not using salt, let me tell you something, it really brings out the flavor of food. There's some really good no salt or low sodium seasoning. So I'm going to sprinkle this on. Okay? Again, the broccoli stems. And look, some people suggest that when you get the stems, you shave off the skin on the outside. Give me a break. You don't need to do that. Throw them in here. And you saute these things until they are tender. And that just really depends on the amount of time. It doesn't take long, okay? So I'm gonna let these saute for a minute. I want to tell you something about the stems. Everything that I do with my cooking, as I said, is a variation on a theme. Improvisation. So what could you do with this? Outside of your own seasonings, whatever they may be, you might want to add some mushrooms in here. You might want to add some onions. Now, if you also want to do a deal on this, you could put some meat in there, like some sausage, some chicken sausage or Italian sausage, and make this whole son of a gun and just to a meal within itself. There's a lot you could do. But again, leftovers, variation on a theme, all right? Now, these things are almost ready, and I'm going to add something to these that will give it, not kick, but it will just give it what I call character. And you can do this with different things. Here's what I'm doing. I'm going to be adding onto this, voila, mozzarella cheese, mozzarella. Now, mozzarella is a great cheese for me because it's low in sodium. Some of the low sodium cheeses are mozzarella. I like to call it mozzarella. But also Swiss cheese, ricotta cheese. These are low sodium and they're very good. They're very delicious. You can add these to a lot of vegetables, of course, meats and stuff like that. I make my own sausage. I make my chicken sausage and my Italian pork sausage, and I do it without salt. And I can top this with the mozzarella. I make my own marinara sauce. We'll talk about that also, a good way to do that. But the bottom line is, we're going to put this over the top. So Barbara, if you see this now, just come on over for a second, babe. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay some of this cheese over these stems. All right? Just going to put it on the top there. Lord have mercy. Now, you could also do something else with this. You could also put some tomato sauce, a marinara sauce over this, okay? And then have it melt over. I mean, there's so many things you can do. Experiment. So you could take broccoli stems, this is one of my leftovers, and do a ton of things with it. So here's what I'm going to do real quick. I'm going to take it, and I'm going to put it into the oven under the broiler for a couple of minutes. Now, while that's doing its thing here, my catfish is ready. Look at this. Oh my Lord have mercy. The seasonings that I put on the catfish, and when I'm blackening it, are blackened seasonings. I use, of course, a little cayenne pepper, some butcher block black pepper, paprika, preferably smoked paprika, onion powder, garlic powder, a little bit of thyme, oregano. You're good. You're good. You're good. And as I said, the butter that I use for this, I use salted butter. Listen, even if you're on a low sodium or no sodium diet, sometimes you just can't get away with using a little bit. I mean, a little bit of salt's not going to kill you. For the average person, they say 2,300 milligrams a day. For those who are on a low salt or low sodium diet, maybe less than that. But you can put a little bit in there. And you know, salt itself has found its way into many foods. We got a frozen chicken breast the other turkey breast the other day, and we thought that it was like no sodium. That sucker had like 430 milligrams. Was it 330 milligrams of sodium, and it already injected into the bad boy. So there's sodium in food. What I have found is the less salt that you use on your food, you're starting to taste the natural flavors. We're going to talk about some of these seasonings. I mentioned this that I put together. You know, jerk seasonings. Also, there's a 21 blend seasoning that Trader Joe's sells. It's actually very good. Using lemon peel or lemon zest or lemon juice to take the place of salt like on my steaks. Lord have mercy, child. We'll talk about that too. But here's what we are. Let me check on this cheese and see what's happening. Oh yes. Lord have mercy. Take a look at this. Looky here, looky here. And what I'm going to do, just to jazz it up, is just to put a little seasoning on the top, just to make it look good. All right. So now, hold that right there, Barbara. Let me get a fork. Okay. And let me let you all know. Oh, look at that cheese. I'm going to swirl it around the stem. Baby? But I don't mean baby. This is a bomb. Chef Julian's Luscious leftovers. Forget it, Barbara. Don't care about it. They know I'm having a ball over here. Chef Julian's Luscious leftovers. Blackened catfish, broccoli stems and mozzarella. I'm out!